Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. This is going to be my quick review of Batman Superman Battle of the Super Sons. I finally noticed it was on HBO Max yesterday, so I was like, let me just watch it because I have been waiting to see this. And like the recent string of DC animated films, I either leave pretty disappointed or meh. And this is one that's pretty meh. I would give it a 5 out of 10. If this is something you want to leave on in the background while you're doing chores, perfect movie. If this is something you would rather just skip altogether, perfect film for you to do that. I mean, it's just there. There are so many elements of this movie that feel like a misstep and a misplace. This film in general feels misplaced. Like you have the computer generated animation, which is pretty jarring compared to the Tomorrowverse animated stuff and just other little animated projects we've been getting. It just kind of sticks out like a sore thumb and not for the right reasons. And then you have the characters. John Kent and Damian Wayne, in my opinion, they are just not leading men. I don't know what it is with DC in thinking that the sons of two of the most iconic heroes on the planet, that should have been a recipe for success, but at least in this movie and in other stuff, it's been a flop failure. Like, Damian Wayne is such a dickhead, of course, just the ultimate dickhead in this movie. He is so unlikable, as well as John Kent. But he is really unlikable. Like the first time he meets John, right? This is after John gets his powers, and he's clearly nervous and self-conscious about everything around him. So Damian Wayne decides upon his first meeting, let's push John off of whatever platform they were standing on in the Batcave. Let's just push him and see if he can fly. Let's test it out. Like, he almost kills John twice in the movie because he just wants to test out his flight. And it's like, he's never really reprimanded. This isn't seen as a complete and utter red flag that it is. I'm just like, are we supposed to like him? The best part of the movie was when he was on the phone with Wonder Girl and she told him, we basically booted your ass out of the Titans. We don't want you. You're selfish. You don't work well with others, period. And my thing is, at the end of the film, Wonder Girl invites him to be a part of the Titans. But there has been, in my opinion, no growth with Damian Wayne. He only learns how to work with one other person, that being John Kent. I don't know what makes you think that somehow he can go from one person to a whole group of people. He cannot work in a team. It's not in his nature. So I don't know why she invited him back to the team. He experienced no growth. He was just an asshole from beginning to end. John Kent was just, he was kind of corny to me. He was a bit aloof. Mm. So I didn't completely dislike him like I did Damien, but there's nothing of gravitas with John Kent. There's nothing that makes me gravitate towards him like, oh, like I don't care. I don't care. Superman, I kind of have an issue with Superman. Number one, I didn't like how he was drawn, particularly when he's Clark Kent. I don't know, the way that he's built, he's stacked like a brick and not in a good way. Like it looks weird. He looks awkward. But then it's the fact that in the beginning of the movie, he's basically an absentee father because of his stuff as Superman. Somehow, he never told John about him being Superman. Why wouldn't you tell your kid that you're Superman? If Lois already knows, why are you leaving your kid out of the loop? Why are you allowing your child to view you as an absentee parent? Why are you allowing your child to have a negative perception of you? You are ruining your relationship with your own son because you didn't want to tell him the truth. And then as soon as he tells him that he is Superman on his birthday, mind you, because on John's birthday he had a baseball game, Clark didn't show up. So he was obviously really upset about that. So Superman's like, okay, if I just tell him I'm Superman, or I'm sorry, Clark is like, if I tell him I'm Superman, then this will all fade away. And it did. And it was kind of ridiculous because I feel like Clark slash Superman should have been held accountable. Like it was just ridiculous how that all went. Lois was Lois. She kind of saved the day towards the end, or at least told the viewers how to stop Starro towards the end of the movie. So it was fine. And speaking of Starro, that's another thing that I did not like. I think the villain should have been literally anyone else. I think if the villain were Brainiac, maybe, or maybe someone from Superman's Rogues Gallery, because Batman's Rogues Gallery is so overused and whatever. So if we wanted to dip into Superman, I would have been okay with that. But Starro just too big of a scale. I felt like they needed to scale it down. Batman was Batman. They didn't really do a lot with him except dick ride him per usual. So there was nothing really of note to comment on. Yeah, it was okay. Like there were parts of the film where it was just boring, and it kind of stalled for me. And then things picked back up. I did like when John and Damian went against members of the Justice League and Teen Titans. I felt like that was good. That was fun. And there's also a point when Damian and John go against Batman and Superman, when they're controlled by Starro. It was fine. I think this same concept was executed leagues better on Young Justice at the end of the first season when all the leaguers were under mind control. It's literally the same concept, except way better. And especially dealing with Superboy and Robin, I just felt like even beyond the characters, because that's leagues better, just the actual fight scene itself, it was just better. So I felt like they could have been a little more creative, but otherwise it was cool. Nothing to rant about. It's fine. But other than that, it was just very average. Not the worst thing in the world, but nothing to write home about. And, I don't think I have much more to say. I'm not going to recommend you rush out and see this. I don't think there's a need. It was simply okay. I don't have anything more. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.